Elwynn Forest is probably one of the most iconic starting zones in classic WoW. There's a lot of interesting landmarks here, like Northshire Abbey serving as a training ground for new players, or the very humble town of Goldshire. You know, the one with two buildings in it? But beyond these two locations lies a greater mystery and greater purpose to these environments. After spending a few nights preparing myself for what's to come, I'm freshly equipped to take on new challenges. So I leave the inn early in the morning, well rested, and Remy two times looks upset about something, so I speak to him first to see what's up.
How are you?
He'd heard that Murlocs had been swimming upstream from the oceans, building settlements, and attacking people in the forest. So he sends me to Marshal Dugan to raise concerns, since apparently the guards haven't been looking into it yet. Now, this is probably because Marshal Dugan doesn't believe there's Murlocs in Elwynn Forest at all. Regardless, he sends me to the east to check up on Guard Thomas and get his military report on the matter. But before I leave town, I decide that there's some unfinished business, because I remember seeing some farms to the south, and decide that I want to see if the locals need some help. Surely enough, Mabel McClure from the McClure family needs help. She has a crush on a member of the Stonefield family, but the two families have a generic feud, so it's considered bad that she likes him.
See you around.
So she gives me a letter to bring to her secret lover. Obviously, I oblige because I'm a hopeless romantic. During my search of the Stonefield estate, I noticed that the people here need some help too, so I asked them what's wrong.
Need help?
Ma Stonefield is very upset because a rival farm has a piggy that keeps eating their crops. She asked me to kill it. I tell her I'll do it when I'm able to. Bernice Stonefield is also very upset because she thinks Billy from the McClure family stole her necklace. I think to myself, maybe if I can solve this mystery, the families will be at peace and our star-crossed lovers can be together someday. Before I work on that, though, I deliver the letter to Mabel's crush. His name is Tommy.
What can I do
Tommy is ecstatic to hear from Mabel, but is sad he can't be with her. Naturally, he asked me to talk to his grandma because he thinks she'd know what to do.
See you around.
So I go and I speak to Grandma Stonefield, who
Well,
has a brilliant idea. She thinks her friend, the candle guy, can concoct a way for them to meet up. That sounds like a great idea to me, so I tell her that I'll speak with them next time I'm in town. But before I run across the zone, I decide I'm gonna go see if Billy really stole that one lady's necklace. Billy tells me he swears he didn't steal the necklace, but he's not sure where it was, and he thinks he could remember where it was if I get him a pie.
You for real, bro?
So I kill a bunch of boars for their meat, bring the meat to the lady whose necklace definitely wasn't stolen by Billy, have her make a pie for me, then bring it back to Billy. Upon receiving the pie, he suddenly remembers that he saw a kobold drop the necklace, and that he wasn't holding it at all. And so I head into the mines to kill this kobold who is known for his gold tooth. I don't find his gold tooth, but I do find the necklace. I return the necklace to Auntie, as she is so happy that she has her necklace back. So with that out of the way, I return to the candle guy,
How are you?
who indeed does have a brilliant plan to unite the two lovers. He thinks the best way would be to make an invisibility potion out of crystal kelp that the Murlocs carry. It seems this guy knows that the Murlocs are in Elwynn, but the guards don't. Since I'm going to be dealing with Murlocs anyways, I decide to head east and finally get Guard Thomas's report. It's a long journey with various interesting landmarks, such as the Tower of Azora by the road. Eventually, we get to the bridge where Guard Thomas is, and I'm able to speak to him
Well met.
and see how the area is doing. And to no surprise, it's not doing particularly well. In fact, he sent 2 guards Rolf and Malaki to scout the Murlocs, and they never returned. It's been at least 2 days, and they're not back yet. So they're probably dead. Anyways, I leave on my rescue mission to try to find these guards. As I head north up the river, looking for Rolf and Malaki, I kill some of the local dangerous wildlife because they've also been having problems with that. As I reach the precipice of the lake, I find a half-eaten body next to this beautiful waterfall. This body is disgustingly half-eaten and swarming with flies.
But look at this waterfall.
And upon further inspection, it does indeed belong to Guard Malaki. Just over the horizon, I can see Murloc villages, so I bet that's where Rolf met his fate too.
You guys like it too, right? I'm not crazy.
I proceed into the camp, which isn't too difficult because plenty of people are killing Murlocs today. And of course, I find Rolf's body. It's also badly mangled, and I don't think he's coming back from this. So I return to Guard Thomas to give him the bad news, but he kind of already knew they were dead. So, given the light of the new Murloc threat, he sends me back to Marshal Dugan to tell him about what's going on. But before I do that, I'm going to help this little town out so they're safe while I'm gone.
Light be with
Sarah Timberlane is a local Stormwind armorer that makes cloth and leather goods, and she seems particularly pleased about the bandit presence because then she can send people like me to kill bandits and take their linen to make more armor.
Go with honor, friend.
So
You
she
need
sends
something?
me to go get her some linen
Need some?
and offers a piece of armor in exchange. But before I leave, I stop in and talk to this lady, Supervisor Raylan. She's really concerned because the workers can't collect the wood that she needs for her deadline. This is because of the large amount of angry bears and wolves that I've been trying to kill this whole time. I offer to go get her wood for her, and then she agrees to give me payment in return. I return to Supervisor Raylan and give her my wood. She offers me a moderate sum of money in return. With that out of the way, it's now time to take care of some bandits and kill that stupid piggy. So I head to the Brackwell pumpkin patch and kill a bunch of those thugs, and quickly dispatch of the giant pig that the farmers were upset about. I return to Sarah Timberlane with the cloth she requested, and she gives me a
Safe
shirt
travels.
and a
Greetings.
belt.
Safe travels. Greetings. Farewell.
Now, it's finally time to make my way back to Goldshire so I can finish what I started. So I run across the zone again. On my way back to Goldshire, though, I realize I need to make a pit stop to gather that crystal kelp I promised. So I do just that. The first thing I do when I get back to town is report to Marshal Dugan. Although he is concerned about the various threats in Elwynn, he's still glad I got him that report. As a reward, he gives me an armor marker for Sarah Timberlane that he wants me to turn in for a piece of armor, but she's all the way back in town. Oh,
Whatever.
so I walk back to Eastvale Logging Camp, get my piece of armor, and I use a magic rock to go straight back to Goldshire. Now this frees me up to talk to Mr. Pestle about the crystal kelp. As expected, he delivers to me an invisibility liquor that I will give to Maybelle McClure so she can be with Tommy at least one time.
Later.
So I run to the McClure farm and give her the potion. She gleefully accepts and decides it's time for her to visit her lover. Not wanting to see what's about to unfold, I head back to Goldshire to see if Dugan has any more tasks for me, and lo and behold, he does. He needs me to go to Westbrook Garrison, a pretty impressive keep on the west end of Elwynn Forest. Apparently they've been having problems with gnolls or something. When I arrive, it turns out, yes, they have a lot of problems with gnolls.
Well met.
Deputy Rayner is there to greet me when I arrive, and he tells me that they're in a pretty stressed situation, and they needs me to help by killing a bunch of gnolls. Also, I noticed this bounty board for this really big gnoll named Hogger. Apparently, he's like really dangerous. So I head into the gnoll camp and just start killing all of them. Eventually, I come across the infamous Hogger. I decide to take him on my own, but someone rushes in to help me defeat him anyway. After dispatching the rest of the gnolls, I return to Deputy Rayner with some armbands to prove that I killed them. After he rewards me, that leaves me with one last thing to do. Tell Marshal Dugan that I slew the big gnoll Hogger. He awards me with these fancy pants that I really like because they have silver highlights. After that's resolved, Smith Argus and the blacksmith tells me he needs someone to deliver a package for him, and I happily oblige because I'm already going to Stormwind. As I arrive at Stormwind, I'm impressed by its massive walls. There's also a lot of people here. It seems to be a pretty bustling city. Anyways, I visit Mr. Pessel's brother first because his shop is right in front of the town. I give him the 3 candles I collected a long time ago, and he gives me 15 rockets. That's kind of crazy. There's also just this dude standing outside of his shop offering free wine. I take the free wine advert and I go to the wine store. I take the free wine and I sell it back to the wine store. Then I move on to deliver Smith Argus's package.
What's on your mind?
With all these little tasks done, it's finally time for me to retire to the woods. I farm deep into the night, knowing that there's nothing else to take care of. Then I come across a document detailing illegal activities. It's called the Gold Pickup Schedule. Immediately, I rush to show it to Marshal Dugan, who is very concerned because nobody should be picking gold up from the mines except for us. We use the note to determine that a mysterious figure known as the Collector is residing at the Brackwell Pumpkin Patch. I go to this pumpkin patch to confront the Collector himself. When I get there, a priest is already fighting him, so I decide to join the fray, and together, we beat him. I collect his things from his mangled corpse. It appears that he was working for someone known as EVC. Seems to be initials or something. Regardless, it seems that whoever this EVC guy is paying off these kobolds, gnolls, and maybe even the murlocs to disrupt Elwynn Forest. I give all of this information to Marshal Dugan, but there's nothing more we can do about it now. So finally, it's time for me to rest. It seems like the plot is thickening here, but I'm not sure what will happen at the end. But thanks, you guys, for coming along on this epic journey as we explained Elwynn Forest.